Good morning, everyone. I'm Alaya Salao from room BA202. So our topic for this day is about plurality method of voting. So, by the way, and first of all, what is plurality method of voting? So, plurality voting refers to electoral system in which a candidate or candidates who poll more than any other counterpart, that is, receive a plurality, are elected in system based on single-member districts. It elects just one member per district and may also be referred to as first past the post or FPTP. Single-member plurality or SMP or SMBP. Single choice voting or an imprecise term as non-plurality voting system may also use a single choice. Simple plurality or relative majority as opposed to an absolute majority where more than half of votes is needed. It is called majority voting. A system which elects multiple winners elected at once with a plurality rule, such as one based on multi-set districts, is referred to as plurality block voting. Plurality voting is distinguished from majority voting, in which a winning candidate must receive an absolutely majority of votes, more than half of all votes, or more than all other candidates combined if each voter has one vote. And under plurality voting, the leading candidate, whether or not they have a majority of votes, is elected. Not every winner takes all systems are called majoritarian representation in the study of electoral system. A term separate from majority voting is plurality voting. For example, instant round of voting is one non-plurality winner takes all system. Also, not every plurality voting method is majoritarian. For example, limited voting or the single non-transferable vote use plurality rules but are considered semi-proportional system. Plurality voting is still used to elect members of a legislative assembly or executive officers in only a handful of countries, mostly in the English-speaking world. For historical reasons, it is used in most elections in the United States, the lower house or Lok Sabha in India, and elections to the British House of Commons, and English local elections in the United Kingdom, and federal and provincial elections in Canada. An example for a winner-take-all plurality voting is system used at the state level for election of most of the electoral college in United States presidential election. This system is called party block voting, also called the general ticket. Proponents of electoral reform generally argue against plurality voting system in favor of either other single winner system, such as rank choose voting methods or proportional representation, such as the single transferable vote or open list PR. So I discuss another plurality method of voting in its examples. So examples of plurality voting. This section needs expansion. Plurality voting is used for local and or national elections in 43 of the 193 countries that are members of the United Nations. It is particularly prevalent in the United Kingdom, the United States, Canada, and India. So, for example, the general elections in the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom, like the United States and Canada, uses single-member districts as the base for national elections. Each electoral district constituency chooses one member of parliament. The candidate who gets the most votes, whether or not they get at least 50% of the votes cast. First past the post. In 1992, for example, a Liberal Democrat in Scotland won a seat. Inverness, Nairn, and Lochaber with just 26% of the votes. The symbol system of single-member district with plurality winners tends to produce two large political parties. In countries with proportional representation, there is not such a great incentive to vote for a large party, which contributes to multi-party system. Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland use the first past the post system. For UK, general election but versions of proportional representation for election to their own assemblies and parliaments. All of the UK used one form or another of proportional representation for European parliament elections. So this is the example of plurality voting. What I mean is plurality method of voting. Because it is one. Memphis has 42% of voters. Then the Nashville 26% of voters. Then the Chattanooga is 15% of voters, and the last is Knoxville has 17% of voters. So this one. Then example, this is the general example using population percentage taken from one US state for illustrative purposes. Imagine that Tennessee is having an election on the location of its capital. The population of Tennessee is concentrated around its four major cities, which are spread throughout the state. For this example, suppose that the entire electorate lives in these four cities, and that everyone wants to live as near to the capital as possible. The candidates for the capital are Memphis, the state's largest city, with 42% of the voters, but located far from the other cities. Nashville, with 26% of the voters, near the center of the state. Knoxville, with 17% of the voters. Chattanooga, with 15% of the voters. So this is the preferences of voters would be divided like this one, and this one, and this one, this one. So international examples. The United Kingdom continues to use the first past the post electoral system for general election and for local government election in England and Wales. Changes to the UK system has been proposed, and alternatives were examined by the Jenkins Commission in the late 1990s, after the formation of a new coalition government in 2010. It was announced as part of the coalition agreement that a referendum would be held on switching to the alternative vote system. However, the alternative vote system was rejected 2-1 by British voters in a referendum held on 5 May 2011. So, there is another example. Canada also used FPPP for national and provincial election. In May 2005, the Canadian province of British Columbia had a referendum on abolishing single-member districtity in favor of multi-member district with the single transferable vote system after the Citizen Assembly on electoral reform made a recommendation for the reform. The referendum obtains 57% of the vote but failed to meet the 60% requirement for passing. A second referendum was held in May 2009. This time, the province voters defeated the change with 39% voting in favor. On October 2007, referendum in the Canadian province of Ontario on adopting a mixed member proportional system, also requiring 60%. approval failed, only 36.9% voting in favor. British Columbia again called a referendum on the issue in 2018, which was defeated by 62%, voting to keep current system. So, last but not the least, another I discuss about plurality method of voting is issues and their problems with solutions. Issues specific to a particular countries. Solomon Islands. In August 2008, Sir Peter Kilauea commented on what he perceived as the flaws of a first-past the post electoral system in the Solomon Islands. An underlying cause of political instability and poor governance, in my opinion, is our electoral system and its related problems. It has been identified by a number of academics and party practitioners that the first past the post system is such that a member elected to Parliament is sometimes elected by a small percentage of voters, where there are many candidates in a particular constituency. I believe that this system is part of the reason why voters ignore political parties and why candidates try and appeal to voters' material, desires, and relationships instead of political parties. Moreover, this system creates a political environment where a member is elected by a relatively small number of voters, with the effect that this member is then expected to ignore his party's philosophy and instead look after the core base of voters in terms of their material needs. Another relevant factor that I see in relation to the electoral system is the proven fact that it is rather cohesive and thus electoral has not prevented corrupt election practices such as ballot buying, releasing political stability by Sir Peter Kilauea, Solomon Star, in 30 August 2008. That's all. Thank you.